would you students say is the most important quality in determining the rest of how successful you are for the rest of your life? If you're anything like me, you said that education is the #1 factor in determining the rest of your life. Many Americans would agree with you, and that goes all the way to the Supreme Court. There is currently legislation in place to protect people of all creeds, races, cultures, and religions in getting a good education. However, a new court case calls some of those ideals into question. My speech is about affirmative action. I was surfing the website on the New York Times when I noticed an article entitled "Judges Take Up Race as a Factor in College Entry." As a college student who had to participate in the admissions process to get here, this article interests me. After doing extensive research, I now feel that I'm prepared to give this topic, information to you, the rest of the class. I will also be applying for graduate school in the next couple of years, and this decision will affect me directly. I will be citing some of the climates and context that caused affirmative action to be put into place, a little bit of history of affirmative action, talking about both sides of the current issue, and a summary of where the court case is now. The Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy has much to say about the topic of affirmative action. It has an extensive article that is detailed its history and a little bit of its implications. In 1972, the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare issued Revised Order No. 4. This directive was to ensure gender and racial equality in mostly businesses to ensure something called full utilization. This meant that there was equality across the board and that everyone was afforded an equal opportunity. This laid the foundation for a 2003 Supreme Court decision, Grutter versus Bollinger, which the Supreme Court allowed for race to be considered a factor in college applications. While it was not granted the ability to be given a point system or any sort of specific, colleges are allowed to use race as a vague but present factor in determining who gets to be admitted to school. This is to ensure a more diverse student population. Since this issue, since 1972, when this first became talked about, there has been sharp controversy over the implications of affirmative action. You either love it or you hate it, there's no middle ground. The website of the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU, claims that affirmative action is a very good thing. It says that it's necessary to even the playing field in a culture that has had some troubles with racism in the past. In fact, a 1998 Department of Labor statistic says that even in recent times, African American and Latino Americans are more than 2 times as likely to be unemployed as their white counterparts. However, there is quite a bit of reason to be against affirmative action as well. In an article called "The Case Against Affirmative Action" by 2 Stanford alumni in the Stanford newspaper, they claim that affirmative action has been ineffective over the course of its quarter-century history. They say that rather than it engenders discrimination rather than putting an end to it by engendering a culture of reverse racism. As long as race is considered a factor in college applications, then racism is happening, According to Hans von Spassky, a legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, any form of discrimination, whether for or against, is wrong. It doesn't matter if the racism is helping people or hurting people, you can't take racism into account. Where is the current case now? The Supreme Court just recently decided to hear the case of Abigail Fisher versus the University of Texas. Abigail Fisher is a white woman who was denied entrance to the University of Texas undergraduate program because she claims based on the color of her skin. The court has allowed this decision to be heard. This in itself is landmark because it is directly calling into question their 2003 decision. This will challenge the decision, and regardless of the outcome, the fact that it's being talked about is a severe strike against proponents of affirmative action. Now you know a little more about the topic of affirmative action. where it came from, what it is, and where it's possibly going. The mission statement of the College of Worcester claims to prepare our graduates to be creative and independent thinkers with exceptional abilities to ask important questions, research complex issues, solve problems, and communicate new knowledge and insight. I hope that in this presentation of affirmative action, I have communicated some of that new knowledge and insight to you.